Today I'm at the South Platte River. We're heading to my cabin on 80 acres. There's nobody on the river today. It's really cool. This is a fun place to come in the summer. It's an awesome lazy river float. I'm gonna hang out here for a few minutes and head to the property. I'll see you there. Welcome to Lost Lands Ranch. Let me open the gate here and we will go on through. It's pretty windy out here today. Not sure how bad the audio will be. Worst case, I'll do some more talking inside. Pikes Peak there in the distance. Came out here yesterday and plowed the snow. This is a private road, so I have to maintain it. In the summer, I'll use the dozer and try to keep it smooth. And in the winter, I just come and plow it a little bit. We got about a half a foot of snow. I'm keeping eyes out for game tracks. There's a lot of deer and elk out here. Good time of year to spot something. This property is 100% surrounded by national forest. So you don't have any neighbors you have to worry about. That Sheep Nose Mountain there in the distance. That's Pikes Peak. What's really awesome is you have your own mountain valley down here. I first found this property during COVID. They wouldn't let us all be in the office at the same time because they thought if everybody gets sick, then nobody's gonna be able to run the company. So I was only working maybe 3 days a week. And I mean, I know they tried to like scare everybody and lock everything down, but it was nice out. It was, I believe it was in the summertime. I can't recall exactly, but I came out here dirt biking. I wanted to start to learn how to navigate, you know, use the different apps that you have. And this area I came to probably 10 years ago, but it wasn't very well known. Like the most popular trails are like Rampart Range, but this area, you kind of had to be a local to know about it, or you had to know how to read paper maps. So I decided to come out here and go dirt biking by myself. And the main trailhead was closed. The river washed out the main trail. So I had to drive through the back way to try to access the trail. And when I was driving up here, I saw a for sale sign. I thought that was really weird because it's all national forest. So I did my 40-mile dirt bike loop, and I was thinking about the for sale sign the whole time. So when I was done riding, I started walking in here. It was an old ranch gate that was broken down. So I walked in here and I was like, man, this has got to be 100 acres. There's no way I can afford it. I only walked halfway in because in Colorado, you don't want to trespass on people's properties. Somebody crazy can shoot you, or who knows what can happen. I called the number, and a few days later, the realtor called me. She told me the price, and I left work right then and there. I met her up at the gate I was just at, and I asked her if I could walk in. She's like, that's a really far walk. And that excited me even more because I really like seclusion, privacy. So I ended up driving in and made it all the way to the house. It was just like a rundown shack. Got out of the car. I was like, where do I sign? She's like, what? Like, yeah, where do I sign? You know, I value property more than I do a house or anything like that. And once I came in here, I knew I had to have it. So yeah, we're getting close now, and I'll give you a tour. All right, we made it. Here it is. When you walk into the house, you have the living room right here. This is a sofa sleeper, a really nice fireplace. One of my bull elk. Have the kitchen in here. Kitchen table. Full-size fridge, microwave, have a water crock, drinking water, an oven. This is an antique cook stove. Bacon and eggs, tastes amazing on here. Here's your firebox. Fill that up with firewood there. This is basically high, medium, and low. You have an oven in here. That's your ash pan. I just use this for storage now. It's like an antique cooler. A lot of that stuff came with the property. I just kept it and reused it. The Mitsubishi split system for heating and cooling. Here's your bedroom, the king size bed. Have another split system head unit in here. There's your remote. Pocket doors and everything. That's an incinerator toilet. Foot pump operated sink. Corner gravity shower. That's the loft ladder. Then up there I have another queen bed. That's best for a teenager. Up there. Complete privacy out here. No neighbors. All national forest. Ruger's out there chasing rabbits. Looks like there's a few rabbits living under the deck. But they're smart out here. You can't get them. The process of buying this property was very difficult. I could not get a traditional mortgage on it because the value of the land is worth more than the house. I was doing tons of research and I finally found a agricultural lender called Ag America Lending, and they were able to work with me to get a loan. It was a little bit more money down, a little bit bigger interest rate, but they were able to help. It was really strange because I thought Colorado it'd be typical, but it's really not. So I think they work with a lot more farmers and ranchers. The second hurdle was getting insurance. This area, there was a Hayman burn. You can look it up online. It's one of the biggest fires in Colorado. I believe the story was it was a forest ranger that either burned some kind of love letter or she was sick of traveling out of state, started a fire here, got out of control. It was massive. This house, the corner, it got burned by the fire. And if you look out here, you can tell there was a fire. I mean, it was 20 years ago. And it just red flagged the system for insurance companies. And where I live, the fire the woods needs to be burned because it's so thick and overgrown there that it's way more dangerous than this area that was already burnt. But finally, just doing a ton of research, I was able to find somebody to insure the property, which was great. Other than that, that's about it. I mean, it took a lot of work because this road is so long that, I mean, thank God I had heavy equipment. It was like a nasty, rough road to get in here. It was all washed out, but a few days working it with the dozer, I got it so you can get a 2-wheel drive vehicle in here. And something else crazy that was happening, right after I bought it, I came back here. I still didn't believe it was mine because to own this much acreage and not be wealthy, I just grew up middle class, blue collar. I never felt like it was mine. And when I came back in here one day and I saw a vehicle parked here, I opened the door of my truck, I honked the horn, and some dude, you can tell he's mentally challenged. He came out and I yelled, I was like, "Are you hostile?" And he's like, No. He's like, my grandfather owned this property. So he broke in here and was living in here. I mean, long story short, I had to get the sheriffs involved. They wouldn't even kick him out because right back then they were taking all privileges away from cops and things like that. It was crazy. But I ended up talking to the guy and learning a ton of history about this property. So when I bought this was through probate. It's a crazy system. I mean, I can't speak too much on it, but I think possibly the family was taking advantage of elderly parents. So now the states or courts take it and sell it, things like that. So it was really difficult, but I never got to talk to anybody that knew anything about this property. Now I know more about the property, which is cool, which I appreciate. And yeah, so there's just tons of crazy stories about this place. But the reason that this is pretty much my favorite property is because I bought 10 acres when I first moved out here back in 2006. I bought 10 acres, lived in that. But you couldn't like dirt bike, you couldn't off-road. I would still have to, throw my dirt bike in the truck, drive an hour, and then go ride. I mean, pretty much all the properties in Colorado in the mountains, it's all private property. So even having 10 acres, dogs running around like crazy. But most all property in Colorado is private property. So even if you have 10 acres, you're not going to be like dirt biking on it or, hunting. I mean, you can a little bit, but you're just blocked in by tons of other neighbors' properties. And back in the day, a lot of ranchers used to let you hunt on their property. They would, right? You could be part of a saddle club. You can be pay a couple $100 a month. You'd have, 5 or 10,000 acres to go on. But those days have kind of gone, at least in the Front Range. Because now people are paying like, $5,000-$10,000 to go hunt and, from out of state and things like that. So even though I love living where I do now, you're so limited with outdoors and recreation. I mean, people get mad at you if you're hiking on their property, and back in the day, it used to be fine, it used to be cool. I used to be able to ride horses everywhere, but times have changed. So when I found this one, I knew I had to pull the trigger, because there's endless recreation out here. This cabin is on an OHV road. So I can take my dirt bike, my Jeep, my Razor, and just go ride hundreds of miles from here legally. So, OHV road is off-highway vehicles. It's called the 717 trail. You can actually see it from across the valley here. You can see it on the side of the mountain. It's a 40-mile single track loop. And when I used to race enduro, I'd come out here and just ride that loop. So yeah, it's like not all property is created equal. When you have so much freedom and you don't have regulations, and all the property around you is not, private property, unusable, it's so valuable. And it's taken, many years to realize that. If, I moved out here from Chicago. So there was ton of freedom, ton of, outdoor recreation, from what I was used to. But, you see so much land, but pretty much people own that. And a lot of people don't want you on their land. It's their property. I get it. Like, you have to pay taxes. It's very expensive to own property. So after I bought this property, I mean, I just bought it for a getaway place, because even though I live rural, you can't do much. You still have neighbors, you got, drama, crap like that. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna have a getaway place. But then that second mortgage kicked in. And truthfully, I could not afford a second mortgage. Like, I mean, banks will still lend you more money than you make. So one of my buddies was doing Airbnb at his property. So I was like, you know what? I said, maybe I'll try to throw it on Airbnb. And if I can, rent it out for 1 weekend a month, it'll help me offset that second mortgage where I can afford it. I put it on Airbnb, and this place has been booked every single weekend for the last 2 years. It's been incredible. There's been people from all over the world that have come here. People love it. They respect it just as much as I do. I thought I'd be against it because, people, some people you think they treat it like a hotel, and you think they're going to disrespect it. But I think the platform with Airbnb, with, how, I guess, guests are responsible if something breaks. I mean, I know stuff happens, but, pretty much their information's on file. There's insurance coverage on there. So I've been pretty cool with it. So yeah, people have been coming here pretty much every single weekend, and they love it. I mean, I'm still like a super host. I still strive to obviously, like, you know, make it a special place and, you know, try to keep up on all the maintenance and the roads and you know, make it so it's an enjoyable, unique place. But I guess it has proven that, you know, this place is kind of for anybody. At first, I thought it would be all like outdoorsmen and, you know, dirt bikers and stuff like me. But most of the people that come here aren't. Most people are probably from big cities that just want like true seclusion. I think this is probably one of the most remote places that people have ever been to, because there's not many places like this. I mean, I've lived in Colorado for 20 years, and unless you have, you know, millions of dollars and have 1,000+ acres, you cannot experience something like this. And a lot of people that have those big, nice, I mean, I'm sure there's some on Airbnb for, you know, thousands of dollars a night, but this place, you know, that the average person can come and experience it. You don't have to have your dog on a leash. You can hike in any direction and just hike till your heart's content. You can take your Jeep or dirt bikes or ATVs. There's actually a rental place down the road. If you don't have toys and you want to experience the trails out here and kind of the freedom. So yeah, this place is really special. And you know, I thought one day I'd like to live at a place like this, but it's, you know, it's a little bit too far. I mean, I have to commute into the city for work, and it's just like a little bit over that edge. And you know, it's just a little too far. I mean, if I work from home, if I could work remotely, I'd totally be living here, and I'd probably rent out my other place. But I don't. I have to go in to the office. So yeah, other than that, yeah, if you're interested, I can throw a link in the description if you want to check out the listing on Airbnb. It's, you know, a couple hundred a night. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm gonna cruise up the OHV road a little bit just so I can kind of show you guys the area. But yeah, I mean, this is an hour and a half from Denver, an hour from Colorado Springs, 30 minutes to Woodland Park, 30 minutes to Deckers. So Deckers is like gold medal fishing. So if you're into fishing, things like that, fly fishing, that's a really cool area. And then, yeah, in the summer we go lazy river tubing. You know, bring a cooler of beer, and it's like the most incredible river, like lazy river to float. That's really fun up here. But to tell you the truth, most people that come here, they stay here. They don't want to go anywhere, because it's just that quiet and that nice, where people just aren't used to this. Like, you don't hear any traffic. I mean, maybe in the distance you can hear, you know, Jeeps or something like that, but I mean, that's like seasonal. Yeah, Woodland Park is 30 minutes from here. They have everything. They have a brewery. They have awesome diners, Mexican food, grocery store. So you just get stocked up with food, come here and just grill and hang out and just relax. There is, you know, we have internet here, Netflix, you know, all the smart TVs, things like that. I mean, there's little quirky stuff about here. Like I said, I showed you the incinerator toilet. You know, there's an outhouse out there. You know, it's kind of gravity fed stuff, so it's not like as modern as staying in, you know, the Ritz-Carlton or whatever. But for being this remote, you have pretty much all the amenities you need for however long you want to stay here. I think the longest person that stayed here is probably, you know, 7 days or something like that. But you know, people just book it for the weekend, or, you know, whatever, book it for, you know, 5 days. But yeah, other than that, appreciate everybody that's, you know, watching this, and I will I'll see you when we get up to the trails. All right, the wind died down a little bit. A really cool rock face right here. Yeah, this is your entire valley to yourself. It just goes on and on and on. A couple targets down there, 50 yard and 100 yard. This thing's really cool. It's an old Forest Service outhouse. Got that thing back in use. Yeah, it's really neat, quiet area here. It's probably 35 degrees out. The wind was blowing this morning a little bit, but it starts to quiet down. But yeah, I've seen like massive herds of elk running through here, big herds of deer, bobcat. The grill has been flipped over once by a bear, but I mean, it could have been the wind. No, it's probably a bear. It could have been the wind, but I bet it was a bear. But don't have too many issues up here. I've never had any issues with guests or, you know, anything dangerous or things like that. I mean, obviously it's the mountains, so you have to, right, don't like keep the trash outside and things like that. This dog is going crazy. Probably a rabbit. Oh, there's the rabbit right there. Okay, we're just leaving the gate of the property and you're on an OHV road right here. So if you want to go off-roading, ATVing, dirt biking, jeeping, hiking, you can do it right from the property. You don't have to trailer anywhere. You just ride straight from the ranch. I'll show you the area that I parked when I came up here dirt biking to find the property. We're also going to come up to the 717 trailhead. So if you want to do some dirt biking as well, trail's right up here. I parked right over here. Looks like it's closed off now. Yeah, I parked there. There's a trails right there in the rocks. And even if you don't have an off-road machine, if you have a four-wheel drive, I mean, this time of year, definitely recommend. I mean, I'm in my Tacoma. Cruise around back here, but definitely be careful. It's always good to have another vehicle or friend with you. There's spotty internet service up here. Be aware of that. But you can stay on the Jeep roads if you're not doing anything too crazy. So here's the dirt bike area that I ride. This is a 717 trail. Obviously it's, I mean, you could stud your tires and ride this time of year. So here's the 717 loop. It has hikers, horseback riding, mountain biking, dirt biking, ATVing, close the Jeeps. That's the loop right there that I ride. It's awesome. It's right next to the house. Let's keep going a little bit. I have a buddy that lives in a cabin down here. He's got a pretty cool spot. See Pikes Peak in the distance. The OHV road is not maintained, but the county road is in front of the property. But if you take a left out, it's not, so nobody's plowing over here. Just be aware of that. But this is just endless trails, dispersed camping. It's a cool area. And I just love exploring all these areas out here. There's so much public land. It's nice we get to use it. If you're gonna be off-roading, get an OHV sticker. That's the only fee you have to pay. You can go explore anywhere out here. I get bored. I can't sit at home on Sundays. I'm up here every single weekend working on the properties. It's My buddy lives down in there. Private ranch. This just keeps going and going and going. Haven't really off-roaded the Tacoma yet. This thing does great. Alright, well, I need to head to my other property. Thanks for coming along. If you have any questions, let me know.